Welcome back to Metropolitan Pit Stop. In today's video, we're going to check out what I think is one of the coolest and best looking Metropolitans ever made. Right behind me is a 1956 Metropolitan two-door station wagon. Now you may have seen some other home-built wagons out there, but this is the only one that was actually conceived and built by American Motors as a prototype. Originally, two different designs were built, but the other one was destroyed in a car accident long ago. American Motors came up with the wagon to solve two problems with the Metropolitan: seating room and cargo space. This design would make it possible for 4 full-size occupants to ride in relative comfort and to fit more than just a few bags of groceries in the back. The wagon was designed in-house by American Motors designer Bill Reddig, and famed Italian design house Pininfarina was commissioned for the build. Let's check this thing out. Some notable design features include this beautiful stainless trim on the B-pillar, quarter windows that slide open, and fixed rear glass with a rear hatch that opens like a tailgate. And they decided to change things up with the second color being black instead of white, which really gives it some class. The problem was, American Motors didn't have enough in the budget to introduce the Metropolitan wagon and to bring back the 100-inch wheelbase Rambler for the 1960 model year. The Rambler would be built at their headquarters in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and would be available in multiple body styles, while the Met would still be an import and would only be available in this one body style. After much back and forth, the Rambler proved to be the more logical choice, and the Metropolitan wagon was shelved. Concept cars and prototypes are usually either relegated to a museum or destroyed because the company's legal departments don't want to have any problems in the future with safety or parts replacement. But in 1958, a college professor who was tutoring American Motors CEO George Romney's 2 sons fell in love with the wagon. Apparently, his tutoring produced good results because Romney allowed him to buy the wagon. The happy professor then drove this thing all over the Detroit area for several years, unfortunately in all kinds of weather. In the early 1970s, Metropolitan Pit Stop founder Jimmy Valentine had begun collecting all sorts of memorabilia and historical information in addition to all the cars and parts. An exhaustive phone and letter campaign search led him to the professor, and Jimmy made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He then flew out to Detroit with a plan on driving the car home. Jimmy was told the car was regularly driven, ready to go, and would have no problem making the journey. In reality, basically the entire lower half of the car was rust. The engine was tired, the brakes were failing, the tires were dry rotted, You name it, it had problems. Nevertheless, Jimmy decided to press on and try to make his deadline. He left Detroit the day after Christmas, 1975, driving through the Midwest in the dead of winter with barely functioning wipers and holes in the floorboards. Yet, he somehow made it home at 9:30 p.m. New Year's Eve and took his wife out for dinner and dancing just as he promised. The wagon then sat for 11 years in their home garage until receiving a full rotisserie nut and bolt restoration to bring it back to its former glory and make it worthy of a spot here in the museum. Once again, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like to see in the future. And thanks for watching.